right, so still talking about childhood experience and what my childhood looked like, because I think this is really important to understand my adult experience. So we lived in the suburbs, pretty isolated in the sense that there wasn't really any family or, uh, family friends that were regularly connected and in my household, like observing without my dad necessarily influencing that. We also were actual prisoners. So one of the things I didn't mention is that by the time I was in elementary school, my dad installed an alarm in the house. And the alarm really served two purposes. I mean, obviously, it was to prevent any break ins or crime, security on top of the security dog. Granted, this was a very quiet neighborhood, didn't have any intrusions, but the alarm still had to be armed every single night. And the placement of the alarm was such that all of our bedrooms were upstairs and then like the living space was downstairs. So the alarm was placed in the middle of the staircase. So you could not go downstairs without setting off the alarm. And my parents had a keypad in their room, inside of their room, so they could disable it before going downstairs. But us, the children, me and my brothers, could not. So my parents would sleep with their door closed at night. The only way that we could go downstairs, like if we wanted a glass of water in the middle of the night, couldn't do that because it would set the alarm off. And you definitely did not want to wake my dad up to ask for a glass of water. Like, it was very known that would not be a good conversation. So yeah, we were basically trapped. Yeah, it was apparently for peace of mind and safety and security, but whose safety and security, right? When my dad wasn't around, my mom would not put the alarm on, but that was a very rare occasion. I think my dad was maybe gone once or twice in my whole lifetime for training out of state for his job at the post office. But other than that, yeah, it was locked every night. So yeah, we couldn't even there was obviously a bathroom upstairs, so we'd go to the bathroom, but yeah, you didn't have any access to the kitchen. You were not free to roam the house at night. It was in your bedroom, in bed. You need to go to do bathroom duties, do that, but then back to bed, basically. So with that, yeah, I also mentioned the bedrooms are all upstairs. So there's 3 bedrooms. My parents have a room, my brothers share a room, and then I had my own room. So I was even more isolated than my brothers because even though they fought a lot, having a tiny space that they were sharing together, they had a bunk bed because there wasn't enough space in that room to have 2 separate beds, and like workspace, desk space, right? So it was a tiny room for 2 giant boys, but at least they were together in the same space. I ended up spending a lot of time alone because my room was separate from theirs, and yeah, so yeah, I think that's really important to kind of understand a little bit like of how our experiences might differ a little bit of our upbringing. Also important with me having my own room, I am a scaredy cat as a kid, and I honestly still am. I was terrified of everything. I remember watching Jurassic Park and being scared of dinosaurs coming to get me. I also had this fear of the trash truck for the longest time just because it's very noisy. I didn't know until much later on in life that when I was a baby, my dad would threaten to throw me in the trash every time the trash can would come, like literally pick me up, run out the door, and pretend to throw me in the trash can. Yeah, so maybe there was a reason why I was afraid, but I didn't know that. I just had a lot of fears and anxieties growing up, and I was kind of also isolated in my room, right? Because my brothers didn't really like come and interact with me as much. Like, we did have times where we like played video games together and socialized, but yeah, it wasn't like we were like, you know, talking about like emotions and things of that sort that a lot of girls talk about, right? I really kind of yearned for a sister in some senses, but I love my brothers. We still talk today, we're still close, but yeah, I think as a child in that space mentally, it was kind of isolating, especially since I was also hearing a lot of stuff from my mom too that I don't necessarily know my brothers were also hearing. All right, so we'll talk a little bit more about my social pieces in the next video. I can't really speak too much of my brothers because I don't really know as much, so we'll kind of focus on like what I do know, which is me, and kind of how some of this played into my social development.